I've always been intrigued by the question of the quiddity and the hykity of a thing. Now, those are medieval terms. The quiddity of the thing is the whatness of the thing, and the hykity of the thing is the thatness of the thing. And going back to Duns Scotus, writing in the 14th century, he talked a lot about hykity and how the thatness of a thing, its existence is very much tied to questions of God and incarnation and that kind of thing. So, oftentimes in debates about what we ought to do, we think in terms of a consequentialist ethic or a utilitarian ethic. We calculate that having this fetus or perhaps unhooking this person from a machine would have certain kind of consequences. And then we start to try to calculate those consequences and add them up in some way and try to make our decision based upon that. Now, we would also perhaps include a deontological rift in there, right? That there is a certain dignity to human beings. So that would be fed into this calculation, if you will. But we oftentimes hear people make the argument that, well, maybe it was fine that Jill aborted a little fetus because his life would have been so bad had he lived, and Jill couldn't support him, and she was, maybe a drug user or whatever. And what I try to do in this article is I just try to point out that we can't easily move from the what of a thing to the that of a thing. That is to say that when we are thinking in terms of quiddity, the whatness of a thing, we can move from whatness to whatness, but it's a certain kind of category mistake to claim that we can move from whatness to thatness. So the fact of life is a that, and how that life is led and what are the properties of that life, that's the what, right? So when we try to calculate that we should, based upon this utilitarian or consequentialist reasoning, that we should end the life, we are in a sense moving from considerations of what to that. And I want to say that I find a lot of these moves in the literature done way too fastly, right? They're done way too easily. It's not that we couldn't have some kind of reasoning that goes from a what to the that, but I want to point out that the thatness of a thing is of a different nature than its whatness. So the fact of existence is of a different nature to the kind of existence the thing would have. So when we want to make an argument that little Tommy should be better off not being, that argument has all kinds of metaphysical presuppositions. That the presupposition that we can indeed, with reason, move from the what of a thing to the that of a thing. Now, in the article, I talk about Thomas Aquinas, who very famously talked about existence as being that property of God, right? That the thatness, the existence of a thing, is divine in some sense. It's a that all existence is a variation on the theme of existence, on the theme of of the primary that God gives to creation. And I find that in our contemporary talk on these issues, sometimes we forget some of the great insights of the past. And so this article really just does reflect upon the whatness and the thatness of the thing.